Amelia Robinson had always known the power of humility. As a self-made millionaire, she rarely dressed the part, preferring simplicity over designer labels. Her success was built through years of hard work, sharp financial investments, and a determination that outshone anyone's opinion of her. But today, standing in the grand showroom of an exclusive luxury car dealership in Atlanta, she was reminded that not everyone saw past appearances. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment below. She had walked into the showroom dressed in her usual style, a plain white polo shirt, jeans, and sneakers. Amelia's goal was simple: to buy a luxury car as a gift for her son, Andre, who had just finished law school with honors. As she admired a sleek black sports car, she noticed two salesmen watching her from across the room. Their eyes skimmed over her attire, and she could feel the smirks even before she heard the chuckles. One of the men, a tall salesman with perfectly coiffed hair and a gold watch, sauntered over, wearing a condescending smile. "Can I help you with something, ma'am?" he asked, dragging out the last word as if to emphasize how little he thought of her. "Yes, actually," Amelia said, smiling politely. "I'm interested in this model. Could you tell me more about it?" He raised an eyebrow, barely able to contain his amusement. "Well, this car is the latest model in our luxury line. It's fully customized, top of the line, but it might be a bit out of budget." He glanced down at her casual attire as if it confirmed his suspicion. "Perhaps I could show you something a bit more affordable?" Amelia kept her composure, though inside a fire had sparked. "I think I'll stick with this one," she replied evenly. "How much is it?" The man chuckled, seemingly unable to believe she'd even asked. "This model starts at around $250,000, but like I said, we have plenty of options if you're looking for something less extravagant." "Thank you, but I think I can manage." Amelia reached for her purse, and the salesman raised his hand to stop her, his voice dripping with disbelief. "Ma'am," he said with a slight smirk, "this isn't the kind of car you just pay for up front. Financing is usually the best option. Do you even know what the monthly payments on a car like this would be?" Amelia stared at him, her patience waning. "Actually, I'd prefer to pay in full, and I'd like to see a manager." He laughed, genuinely amused now, and walked back to his colleague, muttering something under his breath. The two shared a laugh, casting sidelong glances at Amelia as if she were some kind of joke. Just then, the front doors of the dealership opened, and a young man in a sharp suit entered, his stride confident. His presence commanded attention, and several employees looked up, recognizing him immediately. It was Andre Robinson, Amelia's son. Known throughout Atlanta not just as an upcoming attorney but as the son of the city's most successful entrepreneur, his reputation preceded him wherever he went. Andre's eyes quickly found his mother, and a look of recognition and surprise passed over his face. "Mom!" he called, approaching her with a broad smile. He hugged her, then turned to the salesman, his expression hardening as he pieced together the scene. "Is there a problem here?" Andre asked, his voice steady but laced with authority. The salesman who had initially ignored him now turned pale as he realized who Andre was. His mouth dropped open in shock, struggling to reconcile the unassuming woman in the white polo with the young attorney everyone in town knew. "No, sir. No problem at all," the salesman stammered, visibly nervous. "We were just, discussing some options for your mother." Andre's eyes narrowed. "It didn't sound like a discussion from where I was standing. In fact, it sounded like you were being pretty condescending." The salesman swallowed hard, trying to regain his composure. "I didn't mean any disrespect, Amelia stepped forward, her calm yet commanding tone cutting through the tension. "Respect is a choice, and I'd hope that a professional establishment like this one treats every customer with equal courtesy." She looked at Andre. "Son, I was actually planning on buying this car for you today." Andre smiled, but his eyes stayed on the salesman, who was now visibly sweating. "Thank you, Mom, but maybe we should take our business somewhere else if this is how they treat people." Amelia nodded thoughtfully. "I think you're right." They turned to leave, and the salesman, realizing the gravity of his mistake, rushed after them. "Wait, please, I'm so sorry. We'd be more than happy to assist you. I'll even give you a discount." Andre cut him off, his voice icy. "A discount won't change how you behaved. I suggest you remember this moment the next time you're tempted to judge someone based on their appearance." With that, they walked out of the showroom, leaving the sales staff in stunned silence. As they drove away, Andre turned to his mother, admiration clear in his eyes. "You know, Mom," he said, "I always knew you were strong, but seeing you handle situations like this, it makes me proud to be your son." Amelia smiled, patting his hand. "And it makes me proud to see the man you've become. Remember, no matter how much success we achieve, the way we treat others is what defines us." A few days after the incident, Amelia received a call from the owner of the dealership. It was a man named Mr. Whitaker, who had built a reputation as one of the top luxury car dealers in the region. His voice was laced with concern and humility as he asked to meet with her, apologizing profusely for the way she and her son had been treated. Amelia agreed, knowing that her goal wasn't simply to receive an apology, but to spark a change in how people like her were treated in high-end spaces. She met Mr. Whitaker at a coffee shop, and as they sat down, he got straight to the point. "Miss Robinson, I can't tell you how embarrassed I am by what happened. I started this dealership to provide a high level of service to all clients, regardless of appearance. I had no idea my staff had grown so selective," he admitted, shaking his head. "The salesperson who treated you so poorly has been dismissed." Amelia nodded, appreciating his honesty. "Thank you for that, Mr. Whitaker, but you know it's bigger than just one salesperson. What happened is part of a mindset that runs deep, not just here, but in many places." Mr. Whitaker agreed, sighing as he leaned back in his chair. "You're absolutely right, Miss Robinson. I want to make this right, not just for you, but for future clients. I was hoping you might have some suggestions." Amelia thought for a moment, then leaned forward. "First, I think a training program on customer service and unconscious bias would go a long way. The way I was treated isn't just unfair, it's bad for business. People from all backgrounds come here looking for luxury, and if they're judged before they even speak, you'll lose out on valuable clients." Mr. Whitaker nodded earnestly, taking notes. "That's a great idea. I can see how that would benefit us all." "And," Amelia continued, "you should consider an outreach initiative for clients of diverse backgrounds. Maybe host events where people can experience your services without feeling judged, based on what they're wearing or how they look." He looked thoughtful, nodding again. "I'll work on implementing these ideas immediately. Thank you, Miss Robinson." A few weeks later, Amelia received an invitation to an event hosted by the dealership, aptly titled Luxury for All. When she arrived, the showroom had been transformed into an inclusive space, welcoming clients from all walks of life. Mr. Whitaker greeted her personally, grateful for the guidance that had inspired the changes. As she moved through the crowd, Amelia saw people of different backgrounds mingling, trying out cars without a hint of the usual pretension. When she turned a corner, she spotted the young salesman who had mocked her during her first visit. He was now working as a valet, watching her with a mixture of embarrassment and humility as he directed guests to the main showroom. His new role wasn't lost on her, and she offered him a nod of acknowledgement, hoping he'd learned from the experience. Throughout the event, Amelia met clients, salespeople, and executives alike, all of whom treated her with the respect she deserved. Her story had sparked a transformation at the dealership, making it a place where everyone could feel valued. As the evening drew to a close, Andre approached her, smiling as he took in the bustling, inclusive atmosphere. "You did it, Mom. Look at what you've inspired." Amelia smiled back, her heart swelling with pride. Sometimes change starts with a little push, and I'm glad I was able to give them that. In the end, Amelia's influence reshaped more than a luxury car dealership. It set an example of dignity and equality, reminding everyone in the room that true luxury lies not just in material wealth, but in how we treat one another. Leave a comment if you enjoyed this story. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll make me very happy. Thank you, and I look forward to your like.